a successful delivery yesterday. Now, this is true. The baby is born. But you only say a successful delivery when the next sentence is mother and daughter going fine. You usually don't say a successful delivery, mother dead. Mother about to die. So, it's literally true, but of course the guy hasn't slept all night, so you get one of these idiotic, misleading but true statements. You see, again, only Tolstoy would think that would happen. Alexei Alexandrovich stopped short and turned white. He felt distinctly now how intensely he had longed for her death. He can't deny it for himself, right? And how is she? Cornet in his morning apron ran downstairs. Very ill, he answered. There was a consultation yesterday, and the doctor is here now. Take my things, Alexei Alexandrovich. And feeling some relief at the news that there was still hope of her death, Tolstoy is merciless in describing his real feelings here. He went into the hall. On the hat stand, there was a military overcoat. Who do I know who has a military? Alexei Alexandrovich noticed it and asked, who is here? The doctor, the midwife, and Count Vronsky. Alexei Alexandrovich went into the inner rooms. In the drawing room, there was no one. The sound of his steps, the midwife in a cap with lilac ribbons came out of the boudoir. She went into Alexei Alexandrovich, and with the familiarity given by the approach of death, she took him by the arm and drew him towards the bedroom. Only Tolstoy would recognize there's a particular kind of familiarity that takes place in the presence of death. Right? So she treats him differently. And he instantly senses it. Right? So therefore he knows it's the grace of death. Thank God you've come. She keeps talking about you and nothing but you, she said. She keeps talking about him? What is this? She's never done that with me before. What? I mean, certainly not. Reason. Make haste with the ice, the doctor's peremptory voice said to her. Clearly she's in a high fever. Alexei Alexandrovich went into her boudoir. At the table, sitting sideways in a low chair, was Vronsky, his face hidden in his hands, weeping. He jumped up at the doctor's voice, took his hands from his face, and saw Alexei Alexandrovich. Seeing the husband, he was so overwhelmed that he sat down again, drawing his head down between his shoulders as if he wanted to disappear. But he made an effort over himself, got up and said, she is dying. The doctors say there is no hope. I am entirely in your power. Only let me be here. Though I am at your disposal, He cannot stand the sight of tears. Bad enough when men cry so rarely. There's something about testosterone that shrinks the tear ducts, right? That it's even more overwhelming. So he feels this involuntary pity for Vronsky. And what's more, the whole situation has changed. Instead of his being the humiliated husband trampled upon by this officer who's taken his wife, the officer says that he's in his power. Everything seems to be going topsy-turvy. Alexei Alexandrovich, seeing Vronsky's tears, felt a rush of that nervous emotion always produced in him by the sight of other people's sufferings, and turning away his face, he moved hurriedly to the door without hearing the rest of his words. He runs away from them. But you're going to ask now, but he's about to see Anna's sufferings. They're going to be much worse than this. How is he going to handle that one? From the bedroom came the sound of Anna's voice saying something. Now we're obviously following his consciousness because only from there would he be saying something. If you were in the room, you'd know what she was saying, right? Her voice was lively, eager, with exceedingly distinct intonations. Again, Tolstoy would notice that exceedingly distinct intonations from someone dying of fever? Yes, because that person doesn't know if she can be understood and therefore overcompensates. Alexei Alexandrovich went into the bedroom, went up to the bed. She was lying, turned with her face towards him. Her cheeks were flushed crimson, her eyes glittered. Her little white hands, thrust out from the sleeves of her dressing gown, were playing with the quilt, twisting it about. It seemed as though she was not only well and blossoming, but in the happiest frame of mind. She was talking rapidly, musically, with exceptionally correct articulation and expressive intonation. For Alexei, I'm speaking of Alexei Alexandrovich. What a strange and awful thing they're both Alexei, isn't it? Alexei would not refuse me. I would forget. He would forgive. But why doesn't he come? He's so good. He doesn't know himself how good he is. Oh my God, what agony. Give me some water, quick. Oh, that would be bad for her, my little girl. Oh, very well, then give her to a nurse. Yes, I agree, it's better in fact. He'll be coming. It will hurt him to see her. Give her to the nurse. Alexei Alexandrovich, Anna Karenina, he has come. Here he is, said the midwife, trying to attract her attention to Alexei Alexandrovich, but she doesn't see him there. No, give her to me. Give me her, my little one. He has not come yet. You say he won't forgive me because you don't know him. No one knows him. I'm the only one, and it was hard even for me. His eyes I ought to know. Seryozha has the same eyes, and I can't bear to see them because of it. Has Seryozha had his dinner? I know everyone will forget him. He would not forget. Okay. When somebody speaks about you, when they don't know you're present, they're not shaping the words for you. If you could eavesdrop on a situation like that, it would tell you the person's real thoughts about you. And people, all the more so if the person is about to die and has no reason to lie. So she's saying, this is a person who is capable of forgiveness. He would forgive. He is intensely good, although it's hard to know. It was hard even for me. I spent a while before I realized how good he was. This is her completely contradicting everything she's been saying about him since years. It's as if illness has wiped away all that pretense. And he hears this. What is he feeling? This is the person he has just been wishing dead. Hating. And this is the person who says to him better things than we can imagine in our dreams. If you had to construct the person in your dreams who would say to you and about you the most positive things that could possibly be said about your character and your life. What your guardian angel might say. Overlooking all the bad and thinking only of the best things. And thinking better of them than you do. That's what Karenin hears and from the person he has just been wishing dead. You have to understand that he would therefore feel both enormous joy in what she is saying, but also enormous guilt. Then she is saying, Seryozha has the same eyes. Remember, he's worried whether his son is his son. There is no way she would say Seryozha has the same eyes if he were not Seryozha's father. Right? So, he has accused her wrongly. And he feels guilty for that too. Then there is the overwhelming feeling, emotional feeling, just at the sight of her suffering. All of a sudden she shrank back, was silent and in terror, as though expecting a blow, as though to defend herself. She raised her hands to her face. She had seen her husband at last. No, she began. I am not afraid of him. I am afraid of death. Alexei, come here. I am in a hurry because I have no time. I have not long to live. The fever will begin again, and I shall understand nothing more. Now I understand. I see it all. Alexei Alexandrovich's wrinkled face wore an expression of agony. He took her by the hand and tried to say something, but he could not utter it. His lower lip quivered, but he still went on struggling with his emotion, and only now and then glanced at her. And each time he glanced at her, he saw her eyes gazing at him with such passionate and triumphant tenderness as he had never seen in them. Yes, you are the good person, as I always knew. He's never even thought of himself that way. How would you put yourself, how would you feel in this case? And then a person who you had thought of as your enemy and was just wishing dead. Wait a minute, you don't know. Stay a minute, she stopped without collecting her ideas. Yes, she began. Yes, this is what I wanted to say. Don't be surprised at me. I'm still the same, but there's another woman in me. I'm afraid of her. She loved that man, and I tried to hate you and could not forget about her that used to be. This is her describing that very process. I tried to hate you, but I couldn't forget. Now I'm my real self, all myself. I'm dying now. I know I shall die. Ask him. Even now I feel, see here, the weights on my feet, on my hands, on my fingers. My fingers, see how huge they are, but this will soon be over. Only one thing I want. Forgive me completely. I'm terrible. But my nurse used to tell me, the Holy Martyr, what was her name? She was even worse. And I'll go to Rome. There's a wilderness, and there I shall be no trouble to anyone, only I'll take Sir Yosha and the little one. No, you can't forgive me. I know it can't be forgiven. No, go away. You're too good. She held his hand in one burning hand while she pushed him away with the other. She pushes him away because no one can forgive what she did, but she holds his hand tightly because in spite of that, he will forgive. The nervous agitation of Alexei Alexandrovich kept increasing, and had by now reached such a point that he ceased to struggle with it. For the first time in his life, he can't run away. For the first time in his life, he gives in to that feeling that tears evoke there. He suddenly felt that what he had regarded as nervous agitation was, on the contrary, a blissful spiritual condition that gave him all at once a new happiness he had never known. He did not think that the Christian law that he had been all his life trying to follow enjoined him to forgive and love his enemies, but a happy feeling of love and forgiveness for his enemies filled his heart. He knelt down and, laying his head in the curve of her arms, which burned him as with fire through the sleeve, he sobbed like a little child. She put her arms around his head, moved towards him, and with defiant pride raised his eyes. Yes, that is he. I knew him. Now, get the sentence. He did not think that the Christian love he'd been all his life trying to follow enjoined him to forgive and love his enemies, but a happy feeling of love and forgiveness filled his heart. Look, it would not be true if you just said, well, I know I'm supposed to forgive my enemy, so I forgive you. It wouldn't be real, right? It would be following a rule. That's not the real feeling of forgiveness. So Tolstoy is careful to tell you he did not think of the Christian law and decide to follow it. It's just that that feeling actually occurred in his heart. You understand? You can't blame someone anymore when you realize you are as bad as that person. And he has been wishing her dead. Has been accusing her of that he's not Sir Yosha's father. Has thought her incapable of anything but deceit and hating him. And she, in fact, has become the one who knows him and forgives him in a way that no one even has a reason to hope for to happen once in life. So he doesn't feel at all superior. That's part of what it takes, you see, to forgive your enemies when you know you're no better. The doctor unloosed her hands, carefully laid her on the pillow and covered her up to the shoulders. She lay back submissively and looked before her with beaming eyes. Remember one thing, that I needed nothing but forgiveness, and I want nothing more. And then she does a scene where she has Vronsky Alexei uncover Vronsky's face. Give him your hand, forgive him. It's Vronsky here, of course, who's completely humiliated. Alexei gave him his hand, not attempting to restrain the tears that streamed from his eyes. He's no longer trying to restrain it. Thank God, she said. Now everything is ready. My God, when will it end? Give me some morphine. Doctor, some morphine. She tossed about on her bed. The end was expected every moment. Vronsky went home, but in the morning he came in to inquire. And Alexei Alexandrovich, meeting him in the hall, said, better stay, she might ask for you. And himself led him to his wife's boudoir. He's forgiven his enemies. Towards morning, there was a return again of excitement, rapid thought and talk, and again it ended in unconsciousness. On the third day, it was the same thing. The doctor said there was hope. That day, Alexei Alexandrovich went into the boudoir where Vronsky was sitting, and closing the door, sat down opposite him. Alexei Alexandrovich, said Vronsky, feeling that an explanation was coming. I can't speak. I can't understand. Spare me. However hard it is for you, believe me, it is more terrible for me. He would have risen, but Alexei Alexandrovich took him by the hand and said, I beg you to hear me out. It is necessary. I must explain my feelings, the feelings that have guided me and will guide me, so that you may not be in error regarding me. You know I had resolved on a divorce and even begun taking proceedings. I won't conceal from you that in beginning this, I was in uncertainty, I was in misery. I will confess that I was pursued by a desire to revenge myself on you and on her. When I got the telegram, I came here with the same feelings. I will say more, I longed for her death. But, he paused, pondering whether to disclose or not to disclose the feeling to him. But I saw her and forgave her. And the happiness of forgiveness has revealed to me my duty. I forgive completely. I would offer the other cheek. I would give my cloak if my coat be taken. I pray to God only not to take away from me the bliss of forgiveness. This is my position. You can trample me in the mud, make me the laughing stock of the world. I will not abandon her, and I will never utter a word of reproach for you, Alexei Alexandrovich went on. My duty is clearly marked to me. I shall be with her, and I will be. If she wishes to see you, I will let you know. But now I suppose it would be better for you to go away. It really is incredibly moving, right? Now think of it this way. If the novel ended here, think of what an ending this would be. She comes around to see that she loves him. He rises to the occasion. Could you imagine a more dramatic, romantic ending? Tolstoy doesn't even end part 4 here. It's just Christian love. Nobody else has done it. All in a day's work. Let's go on to the next scene. Now what happens after that, with Karenina in particular, you'll see is not what this suggests. Have a good holiday.